Alright, so now we're going to look at macroing poisoning. And now this one is a little bit more difficult than the other ones in that you're going to be using a lot of resources to do it. So you're not going to be able to macro it overnight. It's going to run out of resources fairly quickly. You're looking at maybe 20 minutes before your weapon breaks and then you need to restock poisons or oil cloths. So it's semi-AFKable, but the macro still makes poisoning a lot less painful to do than manually doing it. So I definitely suggest doing this anyways. Poisoning is also one of the skills that does not get a debuff when it's in your house, so you're free to do this while sitting in your in-game house. So the first thing we want to do is just kind of like look at the items we're going to need for this. So we're going to need oil cloths, which can be crafted very cheaply with a tailor. And you're going to need poison potions. You can go from skill level 40 to 70 using regular poison potions. And then you can go from skill level 70 to 100 using greater poisons. Potions. You don't ever need to use deadly poison potions when you're leveling poisoning. And then you need cure pots because you're going to be poisoning yourself quite a bit while doing this. And then you also need the weapon that you're going to be poisoning. Now, while you poison weapons, you lower their durability, so these weapons are going to break fairly quickly. So you generally want to get cheaper weapons like daggers or katanas to do this. Just crafted daggers and katanas are very cheap, so those are usually the things you want to use. Alright, so let's look at how to macro this. As always, we want to type in /macro into our command here. And the first thing we want to do actually is go to this custom action section. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to make specific resource users. And the reason you want to do this instead of just, say, dragging the poison potion onto your hotbar like this is because when you do this, it's going to be looking for this exact stack here. So, like, for example, if you start a new stack, which will happen because you're going to run out of poison potions, the game is not going to be able to know that you want to use this poison right here as opposed to this stack here. So when this stack runs out, this 4 poison potion stack, this macro here will no longer be able to find any poison potions in your bag. So that's why I want to go to this thing right here. And there's a list of commands that I can link in the comments of this video. But for this one, we can type in use resource poison potion. Just like that. Then you hit save. You pick any one of these icons that you want and you drag it onto your hotbar. So now what this is going to do is this, instead of just looking for the specific stack, it's going to look for whatever poison potion it can find in your inventory. So that means when you do run out of poison potions after your first round of macroing, you can just drag a new stack of poison potions into your backpack, and then it'll find those ones instead of you having to fiddle with this macro sequence every single time. So then we want to give it a delay of whatever, 750 milliseconds, and then you're going to do a target last. So with a target last, of course, this does mean that each time you start in the macro sequence, you're going to need to click on that weapon that you're going to be using. It's pretty quick, and if you've watched any of the other videos, you can see it's not really too big of an issue. Alright, so what's going to happen next now is once you've tried to poison the weapon, 3 things can happen. You can fail to poison it, you can successfully poison it, or you can fail to poison it and poison yourself. And so this is when the cure potions come into effect. You want to be able to cure yourself if you poison yourself, otherwise you're going to die very quickly. So again, we want to go back to this command section here, and we want to type in cure potion greater. And that's because I'm going to be using greater cure potions. But you can use regular cure potions if you want for the poison level, but once you start to get up to the greater poison, you should probably just use the greater cures, or else you're going to have a chance of not curing yourself and you're likely going to die. So it's just safe to use the greater poisons, or greater cure potions for this. And the nice thing about it is, since this is going to be running every single round of this macro sequence, you don't have to worry about it using a cure potion every single time. It's only going to use the cure potion if you poison yourself. And luckily, it's not too common of a thing to happen, so you're not going to be burning through cure potions as much as you are poison potions. But anyway, so now what's going to happen is you're going to try to poison your weapon, and then you're going to try to cure yourself. And then we can give it a little bit of a delay again after that. Actually, you should probably give a delay just here as well. It's just in case there's any sort of mess up because of that. So now you have a delay, cure yourself, and so now the next issue you're going to run into is, well, your weapon is now poisoned, which means you can no longer poison it. You can't poison a poisoned weapon. So what you need to do now is actually clear off the poison from your weapon, and you do that by using an oilcloth. And unfortunately, there's no specific resource oilcloth for in the command section, so you're going to have to actually just drag the oilcloth onto your macro sequence, which means that it's going to be looking for this exact stack of oilcloths in your macro sequence. So it's going to be kind of your goal to never run out of that specific stack of oilcloth. Otherwise, you're going to have to drag that new oilcloth back into the macro sequence. Luckily, as you can see, the oilcloths don't weigh too much. So I find that I just always, when I'm restocking poisons, I'll just grab a few more oilcloths and make sure that that's the thing that's not going to run out, and it's going to be the poison that runs out first. So after that, we just want to add another delay, and then we want to do another target last, just like that. Give it another delay, and then loop it. And that is all you need to do for the poisoning.